Education Coordinator from Floyd County. Go get my timer on. And we have started the first year of digital conversion. A lot of you have heard a little bit about what we are doing. We had 3 goals initially that we talked about in the first next gen action research that we did in first, I think it was October. And we talked about our research that we have completed, and we'll talk about it in a little bit today for the one-to-one. And we also talked about our district team views on the one-to-one. So just briefly, I'm going to cover it before we get into the outcomes so far that we have summarized and some of the facts that we have gathered from our program. We went to Mooresville and looked at their one-to-one program. It's pretty intense, it's pretty fluid at this point, and we got a lot of feedback from them. So that was a lot of the main research that we did, was talking to other districts. The one-to-one program for us, and a one-to-one program is different for different school districts. Do not think if you go and listen to Floyd County, we have 6,000 kids, we're pretty large, that it's a one-size-fits-all for every school district. This is just one way that we felt worked best for us. Some school districts go complete one-to-one. We thought that financially that was not the best avenue for us to go, every child with 6,000 children, that's a lot of laptops, and our tech department probably would have gone out the back door. So we decided to go and implement 2 grades each year, beginning with 5th grade and 9th grade. Every 4 years, that they will get, or the 5th grade in 4 years will get a new device when they enter into the 9th grade year. So 5th grade last year and 9th grade. Coming in this year, we'll do another round. So 5th and 6th and 9th and 10th, that will continue so that in 4 years, we will be 5th grade through 12th grade, and it will be fluid, but it's over a period of time. So don't think that this is a digital conversion. How did we do it? We're getting ready to go over the numbers. A lot of times people want to know about funding. I will get to that, I promise. But this is our plan, and what we went within our plan was more than just a device. It was actually one of the last questions that we asked ourselves was what device. We first wanted to know, are we going to allow the children to take the device home? Some school districts have one-to-one, but it's in the school setting and it's not in the home setting. We wanted it to be, especially regionally where we are socioeconomic status-wise, we thought that would be beneficial to our kids. So we wanted the device for the students to be able to take it home. We also wanted the decision that we wanted to have an implemented plan of training for teachers along with administrators, and it's been much more, that's been more of a focus now than even looking at the device. So actually the last question was what type of device. We went with the Dell Latitude. I have it here if you wanted to see it. And we actually also invested into a backpack, which is probably the most important investment besides the device. And the most important investment is your dense wireless. And I've heard of school districts after our research that received a lot of money, and they went and ran out and bought a lot of devices and opened them up in their buildings, and they would not work because their wireless would not handle the capacity. So first thing, get your dense wireless. Last thing, worry about the device, and then it'll all pan out. Why do we do this? We think that this is our reality. I have a 2-year-old, and she can work an iPad or an iPhone better than I can. She changes my password and my picture, and that's where we are. It's not about how do we teach. It's about how do the kids learn. And it's different than the way we did. So it's really hard to change teachers' mindsets of you have to change how you teach because they are not going to learn the same way. They've been brought up in a complete different generation, and they are used to things working a little bit faster than you lecturing when they can Google it right beside of their desk and find it far faster than you're going to talk about it. So we have to catch up really with them and meet their needs first. The biggest thing that we have seen in the middle of our digital conversion, and we started out calling it a digital conversion, and we still are, but eventually we see that it's going to a process of teaching. It's not a program. It's more than a device. A lot of people will say, well, how are the devices? If that is the only thing that we're focused on, we've missed the bar. The main focus is what are we doing with the device? How are we changing the classroom education and the student engagement with the device? That does not happen overnight. It is not a magic fairy dust here are the devices, and now everyone's on board. It takes some time, it takes some planning, and we're in the middle of that, and we are experiencing the same pains. But if all we did was focus on the negative, it would never happen. So instead, we find the teachers and the students that have really bought in, which is a lot, and a lot more than what we even anticipated, and we just highlight those. And we're going to showcase those in our PD Academy in the summer, and really have those teachers share their experiences, and then let that professional growth spread throughout our district. And I don't have to go over a 21st century classroom and what it looks like with you. You know what that is, but that's just some of the guiding, I guess, standards that we have when we looked at this program. This was one of our fears, and it's still one of our fears for a lot of teachers. I actually trained a group yesterday, and they, is this going to take our jobs? We heard that we're getting cuts. Devices or no devices, there may be cuts, there may not be. Devices will not replace a teacher, but the teacher that just says, I'm not going to use technology, what child wants that teacher? They will replace themselves. It's not a decision based upon any type of device or administration. It's here and it's not going anywhere. So we try to show this slide in every presentation and every time we talk to teachers to let them know it's not going to replace you. Hopefully it'll make your job easier. But if you deny it, there's I don't know what to tell you how to go from there. These are some of the numbers that everybody wants to know. How much did it cost? It costs a lot. I'm not going to lie. But when you look at how much money is spent on textbooks, and when you look at how much money is spent on copier rental and paper year after year after year, this is an investment. And a lot of times I get superintendents and I have teachers and instructional supervisors. Well, what did you all give up? How many people did you cut? Dr. Webb, I wish he was here because this is really his vision. My kid, that I'm the person that just shows up at Thanksgiving dinner and gets to enjoy the food, that I didn't cook it or prepare it or anything, because it's an awesome job. But this idea was his idea and our Board of Education to invest our money into something that will last long term and the future, as opposed to investing in something that's not going to, it's just not going to be where 10 years from now, we're not going to have a bunch of books. If we do, we're in trouble. Kids they will hate it. So this investment is a lot. The big thing is, like we said, your dense wireless. When you look at $200,000, again, our district is large. You're talking about 14 buildings. So don't look at this and think that this is your building or your district. You may be on a much smaller scale. This is the initial startup cost. We will not have that anymore. And if you all know, if you talk to your DCCs and E-rate funding, we'll be, helping you out with your dense wireless coming up. But your recurring costs are not as much because you don't have to keep paying for those things over and over again. We'll keep going by. If you want to look at these figures, they'll be posted on the hauler. You can email our district. We're not shy about it. It's just a commitment, and like Dr. Webb says, he talks about prioritizing your funding, and that's what they did. No teachers were cut. Nothing. It was just a district decision to prioritize our funding for this instead of some other things. Lots of training, and again, anything that you need, we don't care to help you with. We can tell you a lot, and I'm going to tell you what not to do. But some of the things to do is invest in your training. At the beginning of June, while all the other teachers are gone, our 5th, 6th, 9th, and 10th grade teachers are going through a 2-day training, not paid, but they will get a device. That's their payment. They get a device, and they will go through training on how to implement our LMS, which is Blackboard, iCurio, which we all have now, yay. But they will go through that training and how to implement these devices in their classroom for 2 days. And then they will also, before school starts, have 2 days of training on, hey, let's look at what you did over the summer and how can we get ready for the kids that are coming up. These were some pictures of last year's trainings. So you're talking about over 100 people that came on days in the summer, not paid, but interested in student learning and student engagement. Lessons learned. Going through this, I was an administrator before I was hit the jackpot, and I love my job, but it's really hard. But I was an administrator, and I remember thinking, I'm going to have to go down to some yard sales and make sure that these kids in my school are not going to be selling these laptops. And I made that joke because I thought, we're going to give kids a laptop to take home and expect them to bring it back. I have learned through this program that the same expectations you put on the kids in the classroom, if you put that expectation on with them on a device, they hit the mark. We have had minimal errors. We have had minimal issues compared to, right now we have 1,700 devices in our district. We have had a little over 60 issues that have been brought to the district that needed to be fixed and sent back to the kids. I think that's remarkable for the first year. We had a large focus on our infrastructure. Our biggest fear was to not get the devices and the wireless not work. So we made sure that we put a lot of investment in that, and we're even going to put more this summer into our schools to make sure the wireless is even stronger because we're going to be upping the devices. So that is an additional cost, but with the E-rate funding, it can help out. Just check into it. It will help you out. It's not going to cost us very much at all for that for this year. Our baseline data, we participated in a survey called Bright Bites, and they analyzed our district. It's probably some of the best data that I have seen. Everyone participated that I needed to, and the data that came back from it was amazing, and it showed us that one area that we needed was more support with our teachers on training. And I don't think that you can train your teachers enough. So my biggest suggestion would be to train your teachers heavily, give them as many resources as you can. It's never going to be perfect, but they need that support. And after they know what to do with changing how they teach, it won't be about a device, and it won't be so scary. So our data, when we got back, that's something that we're really focusing on more now that we're into the project. So that's my advice to you before you get in this project. Invest a tremendous amount of time in training those teachers. And I'm glad that we did certain grades at a time, because if we had to grade everyone, I really don't know what I would be doing. Next thing, kids are great with an iPhone, an iPad, apps, and games. Our 5th grade students, I just assumed, would pick up a Dell, know how to save a document, know how to email, because they are awesome with an iPad and apps and games. Not the case. So now we are looking at making sure that our primary to 4th grade starts integrating technology more than just checking it on the sheet for our funding. And we may be perfect, okay, but make sure that that's going on. Because once you start getting those devices in teeny tiny hands, it goes from an app to education and to save a file and email and organize. They have to be taught those things. So we're looking at doing that for this year coming up, a little more intentional. I went over, we have less than 10 incidents in our school year of inappropriate use that has been brought to our district level. Most of those were with 5th grade. I didn't know that. But 9th grade has been really, really responsible, and we even check what's sent at home if we think something's inappropriate. Our backpacks, we purchased backpacks, by far one of the best investments, because it is a true laptop backpack. If you go cheap on your backpack, you will not protect your device. I highly, highly recommend you get a good backpack. It is expensive. It costs the district $50 for every kid. It has wholeheartedly protected that device and saved us a tremendous amount of money in the long run. Parent training. At the beginning of the year, we trained every single parent that the students received a device. If the parent did not come in to the school for a face-to-face training and fill out the proper paperwork, their child was not allowed to take home the device. We had kids dragging their parents in. Hey, sit down for this training because I want the device at the house, Mom. So you're talking about parents that have never been in a school setting before, coming into a school, being welcomed, and hopefully they will come back. So we're hoping it bridged that parent, community, school environment. Another thing, we have branched out, and I know I'm trying to hurry, we branched out to some of our community businesses. We asked them if they would hold hotspots, and they would allow free wireless for our kids. We have 30% of our students that do not have, with 70% of our students have free or reduced lunch. 30% of our students do not have internet or wireless at home. That is
also why we chose the Dell, because it has a large enough hard drive that they can download a lot of the things that they would need to be able to access at home without a wireless or without an internet connection. If they needed it, we wanted to provide internet spots throughout the community. So it's been really nice seeing our community step on board and offer free wireless, or if someone had a homework or a project where kids could meet, and it would be offered for free. We're continuing to build that, so anyone that knows anyone, let me know. Our fee. Right now we have a $50 fee for if there was an issue with a device. We did not charge a fee for the device at all. All the research that you will see will tell you to charge a fee. We did not charge a fee because of the large free reduced lunch number we had. We didn't think it was right. They're getting free breakfast, but we're going to charge them for a laptop. So they got a free device, but if there is damage, the parents sign that it's a $50 fee. We have learned that $50 is not enough. Most of the damage is usually between $75 and $100. So this coming up here, the first fee, since the device is free, the first fee will be $100. So that's something that we've had to learn. An LMS, I can go on and on about Blackboard. It's fantastic. It is the greatest thing. It's expensive, but it is fantastic. Tech department is amazing. You have to have your tech department on board. You have to bring them along in this process. And the most important thing for us is a digital leader. Your administrator, your administration has to buy into technology being integrated in your building. That is something that we have found that we're going to have to invest some more time in. And that is the entire focus of our summer workshops with our principals, is getting them access from other principals and other superintendents around the state. And Carmen has been great. I've had a lot of resources of people to notify me and let me know of who to put our principals in contact with that can train them the best way of how to monitor that technology use in the classroom. So that's our next step, is building those digital leaders in our building. I'm not going to go through all the data. Student engagement, as you know, is through the roof. Levels of learning, when you have a kid doing their own learning on their own as opposed to it being told, is amazing. One of our principals, this is actually a high school principal, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell their ACT score, but it's awesome. She said, you haven't witnessed student engagement in the classroom until you've seen a teacher effectively using technology. And it's the truth. If it's effectively used, kids love it. They're on fire for whatever you're teaching because if it's effectively used with some type of technology. Okay, I have a few more minutes left. All right. This is the QR code for our digital conversion webpage. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of things already created, still untaken. If you have any questions, we do not hide anything that we've done. We can tell you again things that we will redo or change. But you have any questions? Mr. Hawkins, is that?
How's your community respond?
The community has really enjoyed seeing the kids excited about learning, and we want to get more community and more partners opening up their businesses for free Wi-Fi. But what they like is the anytime, anywhere learning, anywhere they go, if they're at a ball game late, if they're in Pizza Hut, they can do their homework. It's really opened up doors for the community to be able to work with them. And another thing that the community has, I think, just really, really embraced is making sure that the support for our schools, I know the Chamber has welcomed us. They've had, it's just really been nice at bridging the gap that when we've looked at certain reports that we needed to bridge, and that's just one way. We still need to work on it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely helped out with the community involvement. Any other questions?
Did your district have to work on building the capacity of the tech team, or was it there at the beginning?
Our tech team's pretty awesome. I am now techie. I was not techie. I was a high school social studies teacher, assistant principal, and to work with people that they just do it. I mean, they know all about the dense wireless. They know all about, hey, we've got a busted screen, which little things that, they knew the right way to guide us, and I think that helped us. We're looking at a device, looking at how much wireless we needed, and they also saved us some money so we didn't go overboard. I wish I could say that they learned. They're awesome. I wish they were here. Do not steal them. Do not steal them because they're awesome.